Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Rao, starting my positive wellness days, day number 8. Welcome, Coach Nicole. Thanks for being here. Today, I was wondering about what is first for me, word or the spirituality. When I go away from the world towards the spirituality, I feel sane and quiet and calm. But when I use the spirituality to do better in the world, that seems to be the modern way, and you are taken away from all that peace and quietness within you. So, this is something very practical if you look at it. Why it is wellness and spirituality is, unless you are very balanced or really centered in your inner self, your mind will be running and your mind will not have the capacity to deal with any problems, anything that come up, and that affects your wellness. So inner peace, inner serenity, inner tranquility is really robbed by when you are running after things in the world. Minimum things are okay, but why do you have to have more? um, We're not going to judge whether somebody is good or not just because they are pursuing world or spirituality. But I'm just stating a fact that if you are centered in your spiritual self and then deal with the problems of the world, you will be able to handle them and you have the strength. So you kind of resolve all the psychological problems of anxiety, depression, and all that when you are really centered in yourself rather than really outwardly, right? That's my point of view. I hope that makes sense when we talk about that, you know. So let's take an example. I've been with coaches, I've been with uh, teachers, and so on, right? But then they are always trying to get your body, mind better, but then towards what better life, to live better here, to experience things better, versus um, these are all kind of come and go. Let me be oriented towards the what is important, what is permanent, what is stationary. That is our inner spiritual self. Spirituality is not out there, but within us. When you miss that, and then you train the body and the mind, which are supposed to be your tools of the spiritual self, you may not do a very good job because something happens in life. Things will come at you, right? Like adversity, like challenges, um, and then you're always going to be either really excited or depressed. Actually, many people who get excited about things, they have the potential to fall into depression too. Many people are like that. Okay, so you'll always be running after things should be good, things should be happening to me, things should be exciting to me, and far and few they may, but most of the time people will not realize those goals of the worldly goals, and then they fall into depression. So that's not good for your mind or your body or your family, anything like that. So how can you keep your mind centered in your real inner self. That's what is really, I think many people are coming to that and trying to get there through devotion, through meditation, any means that they have. But then there is a way to spiritualize daily life and then really be peaceful and equanimous in times of success and in times of defeat or falling back from the real success and all that, right? So for me, it's all inner. So even something happens outside, the inner trumps over the outer. You can see the people who are really inner oriented, they are kind of stable in both situations of real success, and they don't go too elated for that. And also, if they are falling back, they don't get into despondency. Rather, they use the stability that they gain through spiritual practices to encounter life and to be. So basically, I always talk about inner resilience, either body or the mind or the spirit. Everything is inner for me. But once you have that stability within your uh, self, then that you want to go towards that away from the world. The more you are really enamored by the external things, the more you will be subjecting yourself for uh, either defeats or victories, right? And be, can you be consistent? Can you be balanced in reacting to whatever is happening in the life? Not being apathetic, not being indifferent, but really not having the psychological ups and downs. That's not a problem. It's a question of education. It's a question of, do we really have to go through this uh, roller coaster? Is that really needed, or do we, are we missing something in our education, in our culture, of promoting all the silly things, small things that may not last, whereas this kind of inner ecstasy, peace, and joy, they are real, really, and they can stay there if only you stabilize yourself in there. Okay, uh, if you take the spiritual practices of anything, suppose you are a dualist or a non-dualist. Dualist meaning that spirituality is separate and the world is separate, and that's why you want to pray a god out there, and then you expect him to take care of everything as it is happening in the world. If you stay there, then that is okay, because you kind of surrender yourself to the god. Then you don't take on you to yourself worrying about this thing did not go right, that thing did not go right. You just surrender completely, and then you depend on the divine to direct your life. But you don't do that. You just believe that there's a spirit and all that, but you think you have to make an effort and you have to get things done. And if something goes wrong, then you feel bad, right? I'm not talking about any particular person, but general state of affairs, right? So if you believe in God and there's duality, and then you are immersed in that, and you say whatever is happening is God's prasad. Prasad in the uh, Sanskrit means that is a uh, given to you as a gift from the God. So that's why when I see in the temple, whatever you give in the name of prasad, the people will take it and eat it. Suppose you don't like bananas and they give you banana, you will eat that, or something else, some other fruit or some other nut or something like that, they give it to you. whatever that is given as an offering from the god. That's what they do usually in our temple. When you go there, they'll give you a couple of whatever, walnuts, or a couple of grapes, or whatever they have. They give it. You take it with reverence. You kind of touch to the eyes like though it is the purest thing, and take it like that. If you are a dualist, you really believe in God out there, then whatever is coming to your life, you accept it as prasad. Then you are completely accepting whatever is happening and then going about it, not subjecting yourself like a, I did not do this, I did not do that, or this did not happen, this should have been done. That is not there. Your experience is given by the God as a prasad, then accept it. That way, that kind of spirituality, most of the world does follow this duality, right? And that's okay. On the other hand, if you are a non dualist, like we say, God is everywhere in everything, that is the non dualistic attitude, right? Then you see the divinity in everybody and everything. Then, with that stability, you go to the life and then do whatever you do as being done by the divinity through you. That spiritual practice also okay, but then you care more about the spiritual being rather than just surviving the world or experiencing pleasures in the world and all that. Either way, you will have stability of inner self, and mind doesn't go to the extremes of really excited about things in a superlative way. That means you are way up there, and then you're setting yourself for a fall. And then when something goes wrong with that, then you crash and then you go into a depression. It seems youngsters, when they took a survey, 30% of the youngsters are depressed currently. So they don't have real joy of being a human being and having this life and seeing the good in the world and enjoying them. They don't have that. They are kind of see the negative side of the world and always want things to happen in a way that is really good for them or exciting for them. They don't have this attitude to take both the strife and also the good things happening equanimously. So, spiritual practice of really staying calm, closing eyes, and following the thoughts, meditation, right? That is supposed to have given you that stability of the mind, not fluctuating too much either this way or that way. Think about it. When you have that kind of serenity, stability, how much money you will pay for that? It's all within you, and you can do that yourself. So I bring this topic into wellness ways. Is we can be positive about what is happening within us. Why these fluctuations? Can I be aware of them? Can I be seeing them? So if you do that kind of practice in the morning, instead of allowing your mind to run, stay with it. Let it be positive, or let it be immersed in the spiritual self of yours, or the God that you think you are outside of you. Either way, then you are centered in that spiritual self and away from the world. But the more you are moving to the world or being influenced by the world, um, all this talk about making it a success, monetization, and then I will have peace of mind. I think that is defeating the purpose to begin with. The power is within you, it is with you, not thinking of it, but beyond the thinking, in your stable self. People do not pay attention to the power within them, and then they go after everything else, and then they come back to it at the end of their life. So spirituality is where you can go by belief, that is the dualism, or you can go by knowledge, that is the non-dualism. Mano ya jano, that is the Hindi words that they use. Mano means you believe, jano means you know, you kind of investigate and find out. Okay, so many spiritual people, they really are very contented and happy and joyful in their being. Once they are settled down, they will be pulled by the world because they want to get something outside of themselves. Other world is going towards that, but then these people who are very satisfied with themselves, contented and happy, they don't have to have many things, but they are happy to be human being, happy to be here, happy to be just experiencing that divine self within, and then share that ecstasy and joy. But many people who are really making everything has to be successful in the world and get everything, and then because you develop the fear of losing that, you develop uh, maybe you are not sharing, so you feel guilty about it, or maybe you're too dependent, so if that is taken away by a storm or by a flood or anything like that, then you feel really bad. In spiritualizing of the daily life, you live, you kind of stay in the water of the river, you are in the boat, you are going, you are really uh, propagating your boat towards the shore, but you are not letting the water come in. So you can live like that. Anything you do, anything you help, anything you contribute, like with a detached attitude, and be doing stuff but not bound by them. You know, that is the liberation that you feel when you are moving away from the world towards your spiritual sense of who you are. This makes a lot of sense for me. And I was having a talk with one of my friends yesterday, and I was telling her how this always dragged me towards the spirituality. However powerful the world, the situation, or the things happen to me, either health or money or whatever, when they were taken away, how I coped them was with this inner spiritual sense of life that is there, and also live it every day. Don't live it in the past, don't live it in the future, but live the today as it happens, completely, fully, and take everything like a prasad, like the offering of the god. Then you can go through the life of the river towards the shore that you want to go, just to glide through the waters of the life, not allow the water come into your boat and sink you with the boat. So that's how you encounter life situations, and that is how you really maneuver and keep your mind sane and balanced. Okay, this is not a moral or anything, this is actually a fact. If you really look at it, you don't have to answer to anybody, but just see, where is my mind going? Is my mind going more towards the world or to the sense of spirituality I have within? Either I have a God outside, or I have a identified divinity within me, which is in everybody else. So all the people, all the things, if you consider as a personification of the God, then that is non-dualism, oneness, all interconnected. Or if you say I'm a sentient being and there is a superlative God out there, then accept it and then be completely loyal to it and be stationed in it. Okay, it's not like a preaching, but to be well, you want to have this equanimous nature gliding through the life of ups and downs and currents, really rapid or slow, whatever it is, you don't really let the world get into your boat of spirituality. Okay, so it's a very simple thing, but then how do you go about it? Is just start the day with either a prayer to God out there or affirmation of your inner divinity. You know, for me, more like a affirmation of divinity within and outside. You know, but that is an individual choice. You can follow the path of devotion, or you can follow the path of knowledge, or bring that spirituality into action, and also try to keep the mind focused and centered within your spirituality. I hope this doesn't sound like a high handed sermon. That's not the intention of this. Keep the mind centered and not in fluctuations of either extreme ecstasy or depression as a reaction to the life's events. Then you can maintain good physical health, mental health, psychological health. So you got to figure out what are the psychological things you have developed and they are causing you mind go that way and this way. Then you can resolve them, with knowledge or with letting it go. Okay. So that is the talk for today, and that's my humble presentation for today. Um, just question: am I moving more towards the world, and that's why I want to use the spirituality, or am I moving away from the world to the spirituality for inner balance, inner tranquility, inner happiness? Actually, this is something that I use in my, whatever videos I make. At the end of it, there's a contact information, and there I say, if you want inner health, inner wealth, and inner happiness, contact our company, be a pal, right? So in the wellness club also, I always say, if you want to live long but also well, not suffering chronic diseases and really being miserable and limited, but you can do as much as you can to really revamp the body and mind, and then you can live long with this inner resilience, but just not long but well, not like a vegetable but more a person with life, and also live in joy. So that is the joy will come when you don't have this mind fluctuations, and then mind fluctuations will diminish when your goal is your spirituality, not the outward experiences or achievements or accumulations. So that's the talk for today, and I will be seeing you again um, in throughout the day as the talks happen, as I find time. Otherwise, I will see you back at 6 o'clock talk, which I do. So I do two talks now. One at 7 o'clock in the morning, and one at 6 o'clock in the evening. So 6 o'clock can go hour and a half, something like that. But morning, I'm trying to limit this to half an hour. Hopefully, I said something that makes contribution to your wellness. So, being positive wellness is being proactive. Suppose you are involved in negative thinking, go about it. Ask about why you are negative about it. What is negative about it? What is that you are expecting? After all, thinking is happening in your consciousness, in your awareness. So examine it and see whether you can be out of that negativity. That itself a proactive tip, proactive behavior, proactive thing that you could do to help your wellness. Okay. Thank you, and I'll be seeing you again. Okay. If, so again, the question is: world important for me, and I'm using spirituality to live better in this world, or am I, in my thinking, in my feeling, in my understanding, moving away from the world into the spiritual serenity, peace, happiness? I would say the second thing is sane and possible, and also leads to positive wellness, proactive positive wellness, because you live long, you live well, and you live in joy by adopting spirituality and moving away from the world. That means not entrenched in it, not really thinking that will give you, long-lasting happiness. Okay, so with that, I will take leave and I will come back as time permits. Thank you.